Welcome to the Bend Like Bamboo Resilience Podcast, where we discover how life's greatest challenges can become our greatest strengths. I'm your host, Amanda Campbell, kinesiologist, MS specialist, resilience coach, and author. Get ready to be inspired by these remarkable humans who share their raw, real stories of transformation, the breakthrough moments, the lessons learned in the trenches, and the practical wisdom that turned their greatest challenges into their greatest strengths. These conversations offer hope, tools, and proof that resilience isn't just possible, it's your birthright. Together, let's discover how flexibility can become your superpower, turning life's storms into stepping stones towards the person you're meant to become. Let's dive straight into our next conversation. Hello, Matt Rowe. Thank you so much for coming back on the Bend Like Bamboo podcast. I always love having you here.
Oh my gosh, it's such an honor to be with you in this space. And I love your podcast, and the energy you put into it, Amanda, is absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you. I was just saying just before that, I get to meet so many incredible people. And I've learned to stack my podcasts so that, I better manage my day so I don't burn myself out. And I do, a couple in a row.
Mhm.
And, I just came out of another one, which was amazing. But I always love our ones as well because you've been on the podcast a few times. And if everyone,
Mhm.
Matt's one of my coaches, he helps me with my mindset. He helps me with quantum leaping, and he has a pretty amazing story. Let me share your background again for anyone that might be listening to this for the first time. Matt Rowe is a master neuroplastician, author of Belief to Heal, and dedicated guide in the field of mind-body transformation. After overcoming paralysis to complete an Ironman, Matt now teaches others how to harness the brain's power to heal and thrive. Blending science and spirituality, he empowers individuals to rewire limiting beliefs and step into their highest potential. As a meditation and Reiki practitioner, Matt helps people reconnect with inner peace and natural healing energy. His mission is to inspire hope, resilience, and the belief that healing is not only possible, it's a daily practice and choice. And we're here today to talk about his new
Mhm.
project and collaboration, Optimal Mind, Optimal Body.
Yes, absolutely. Optimal
So,
body, optimal mind was a something I remember. David Lyons came to me about a year ago, and he's been training individuals, and he's now a doctor, and he's been training individuals for over 10 years to actually help them through their own chronic conditions to actually reactivate the muscles within their bodies. And so David came to me and he goes, "My program is incredible, scientifically proven, but I'm missing the mind element that is so critical for us all."
yeah.
So that's why I got so excited about doing this with David and actually building something that we're already seeing positive results for individuals. I'll tell you one story. I had a woman come to me and she said, "You know what? I have so much cynicism. I'm older now. I can't do this stuff." And you could see in her mind, she was already deflating herself or talking herself out of this powerful work before we ever even began. I encouraged her to sign up. So now she's a month into the program, and she told me today, she goes, "Matt, I'm actually getting stronger. I walked across the hallway and I haven't been able to do that in years." And she's starting to, her mind is creating possibility within her. And it was such a beautiful story because everybody has this, even for those that are the most skeptic individuals of any workout program that you may have done. This is different. We're
Yes.
actually helping you with consistency and focus to
Yes.
create what you wish.
Yeah, because the mind and body are absolutely connected. And when you leverage the
Mhm.
power of the mind, And we look, so I was always so fascinated about, when I was recovering from my paralysis, I wanted to know, well, what are the stories of people that recover when they're not supposed to? Why is that so? Why does that happen? But then what are the stories of why is it that when we do eat really good food, we might even go to the gym, but we can also get really sick? And what I learned was that the power of the mind and our deep beliefs about what's possible for ourselves in the future, and as we just
Mhm.
spoke about before, that becomes quite skewed upon a diagnosis where we can lose faith in, falling, into the negative statistics and, if you don't use it, you'll lose it,
Yeah.
like we just said
Yeah.
before. And, um, you know, for me, the biggest transformation started to occur when my mind had no option and no other choice than I'm going to heal and I'm paving my way forward. But that took courage, it took confidence, and it took resilience. Before initially in the early stages, I became, yeah, I wasn't quite brave enough to just in case it didn't happen. And so
Yes.
you're empowering people to nourish their minds to go in that direction. That's why I love it.
Mhm. Well, it all begins in the mind. Anything you wish to achieve in your life begins here.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen with the body leading the way. It begins with the mind leading the way. And like Henry Ford said years ago, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. Well, why
Mm,
did he say that? Is if you wake up each morning with a level of possibility and you only need a little bit. You don't need a lot. And
mm,
so, but if you start working that way, then you might wake up 15 minutes earlier and go do an optimal body workout or go do a different exercise program. Or you might actually start sitting there and meditate in the morning, bringing that balance within yourself, which then encourages you to take another action step. Because this all requires action. But if your mind doesn't think it's worth it, if you tell yourself you can't, you
yeah.
won't.
Yeah. Yeah. This is very, very clever. I've got a few questions for you today, Matt. So
Absolutely.
I'm going to start with, your story and when you
Mhm.
went from paralysis to completing an Ironman, a
Yes.
transformation that defies what most medical professions would say possible. Can you
Mhm.
take us back to that pivotal moment when you realized that your brain had the power to rewire your body? And what was the first small shift that made you believe healing was possible within your control?
Yes, absolutely. So I got to go back to the point. I remember when I went into the surgery center because this one had to be repaired with surgery in
Mm.
my spine. And I went in and I couldn't walk very well. My right leg was not functioning. So the doctor gave me a 50-50 chance. And I asked him, I said, 50-50 chance it'll work. He goes, 50-50 chance I don't paralyze you from the waist down. So I went into surgery with that thought in my mind, but I walked out of the surgery. And it was in that moment right there. If I could walk out of that surgery center,
Mm,
then that meant I could get on a bicycle again.
mm,
Now, prior to that, I was an All-American triathlete. I
mm.
was semi-professional at the half Ironman distance. So I was one of the fastest guys in the United States that could bike 56 miles, swim. Well, first you start swimming 1.2, you bike 56, and then you run a half marathon
Wow.
13.1. So
Yeah.
within that moment, in that space, I knew my body could do this, but I needed to send the message to my leg that it could again. Now I had lost 90% of the muscle out of my right leg. And of course, I limped somewhat crazy even after surgery, but I could get on a bicycle. And so then I got on the bike and I tried everything I could. And when you look at neurons within your brain, they grow 1 millimeter a day. I needed to create a new neural pathway coming from my mind down to the tip of my toe. Now, being that I have a 32-inch inseam, my it was gonna I did the math. It was gonna take me 3.5 years before I could actually compete again or do anything like that again.
Mm,
So 1 year before that date came, the 3.5 years. At 2.5 years, I signed up for Ironman and said, if Ironman can't do it, nothing will. So that was a mindset shift. I had to take action and sign up and then follow the system and the program and the training. Now, part of this includes running, biking, and swimming in all of those elements. And
Yeah.
so, with a lot of it, some of the exercises were very difficult because let's say you go out and you bike 70 miles. Right when you got done biking 70 miles, you had to park the bike and then go run 10
Oh,
immediately after you did that. But
yeah.
I needed to get my brain ready to be ready to actually pick up my leg to comfortably run
Yeah.
at distance.
Yeah.
But it didn't always start that way. The first time I remember coming out of the surgery center and getting on my bike for the first time, I maybe went 10 miles.
Yeah.
And I struggled like biking, like my leg didn't want to perform, but I knew with every pedal stroke, I was getting stronger. So then my mind was telling my body that every time you push on that pedal, you are getting stronger. So I was already training my mind. Then I noticed that started to infiltrate into my day-to-day activities. I'd go walk and I'd walk with that limp and that foot didn't work as well as I want. I would tell myself, my foot is becoming stronger every step that I took. Then I remember the day I went for my first run after not running for months.
Yeah.
And I remember running along, I think I ran 1 mile and I'm just running along that 1 mile, going, all right, it's getting stronger. I'm getting better. And then that started to grow. That neural pathway started to grow. My mindset started to shift. But that mindset didn't shift just by action. That mindset shifted by what I told myself every day going into it. But I saw what I wanted, I saw where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And I found so much joy in doing it.
Yeah.
I remember so many beautiful runs and bikes after that event that it just, I couldn't imagine my life any different. And so I was creating a whole brand new neural pathway.
Yes, yes. And, the other point that you just raised, which I think is so important, is when you overcome something like that where you didn't think it was possible. And
Mhm.
I share this experience when I too first walked, first jogged, first ran after months of being
Mhm.
paralyzed. And you and I both share this, is
Yeah.
the change that occurred in my belief system and my mindset that
Yeah.
translated into what else I thought would be possible when such a big thing wasn't, but I had achieved it. I started to change my mind about the stories I used to tell myself that I'm not going to be successful, I'm not enough, I can't do that, what if I fail? And also just stuff like that stopped mattering so much because when you go
Mhm.
through such a huge health scare,
Yes.
you something builds inside of you where you just don't care about the little things anymore and you think, oh, I just don't care, let's just go for it. And it
Right.
changes the trajectory of what is possible for you. And that's the most
Mhm.
exciting bit. And I guess the gift of these experiences is if we can shift our perspective in that way, but follow it and give that energy of that new belief system. What you thought, maybe I can then ride a bike, and then maybe I can, and then what did that lead to? Like your life now,
Right.
it's like you're living your dream life now. You're thriving.
Well, that becomes, but it all happened very slowly.
Yeah.
1%. This is the philosophy that I teach all of my clients and anybody that I do work with is building strength and building that mindset doesn't happen all in a flash. It happens 1% at a time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what if you woke up, let's say the day before you woke up thinking, "Oh, today's going to be terrible," which is fine. So then let's say you shifted your mindset just a little bit. And let's say the next day you woke up and you just took a breath, never said the words, but just took a breath and said, you know what, I'll try.
Yeah.
That's 1%.
Yeah.
Then what if that 1% moved into, you know what? This is what I want. This is where I'm going. And then you created a desire within you, not an expectation. Expectations lead to frustration. But what if you sat out there with that desire that you put out there with an intention? And you're just intending, yeah, you know what? I want to just run again. And you just put that out there.
Yeah.
So then let's say you go to walk down the hallway and you notice a little skip in your step, or you notice a little bounce in your step again. That is then by 1% building that neural pathway of that possibility. Most of what we see in this world is we may see somebody at the beginning and then we see them at the very end. And we think that that all happened linearly, that all happened very quickly and easily, but that's not true. The truth is those moments take time. Those moments take patience. And so as you're walking through that next beautiful element, you are allowing your body to step into that space.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're giving yourself the patience and the grace to actually do this.
And that's
I want to
why,
let everybody know there is no magic pill.
no, but consistency is key. And that's
Yes.
why I love what you've created with optimal body, optimal mind, because
Mhm.
you've got, let's talk about it. You've got exercises, you've got mindset tools that people, that help people to stay on track
Mhm.
consistently,
Consistently.
especially for those
Yep.
more difficult days. But we were just talking about BDNF and
Mhm.
acetylcholine. Let's go there. Like, what happens?
Okay. So BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, is actually a chemical that's emitted from the brain that actually aids in the neural pathway. The way I like to describe that is soil. Think of it as like if you were a gardener, you would plant the soil. Now, your thoughts within your mind, your desire is planting the seed within the soil. Now, acetylcholine is the water on the seed. So
Mm.
let's put this into our lives. So let's say anybody that's been diagnosed with a chronic condition. I've been diagnosed with my own chronic condition. Amanda, you have walked this road as well. And so you realize how important this is right here. So then what we can do is we can start out with that moment. If you've ever been diagnosed with a chronic condition, is become aware of what you're telling yourself. You
Yes.
don't have to do anything with it right now. Just become aware
Yes.
with no judgment, just as the observer, as if you are watching a movie and say, oh, did I find myself telling myself that?
Can I
Through
just
that awareness, you're creating pattern interrupt.
Right. Well, good, because I notice with my clients, and the way I get to the bottom of this with my clients is using the tool of
Mhm.
kinesiology. And often they're not aware of what they're telling themselves. And it's through the method of the subconscious brain and muscle testing and, ch the Chinese medicine method of the meridians and the chakras, we can
Mhm.
identify the stories that they're telling themselves. So, how do we go about doing that, do you think? And then we'll keep talking about the science behind it, because this is it. This is the crux of everything.
So there, as you said, from chakras to, something that really is that if you want to take a bigger step toward this, go get a coach. They can
Yeah.
see things that you may not be able to
Get some
see.
help. Yes, other
Get
people
some
can
help.
see
Go see Amanda. Like,
or go see Matt. Like, you're my coach too. So, but coaches need coaches. And
right.
that's another important thing to identify. So I'm sorry I interrupted you. You said be aware of what you tell yourself, and then that actually is, you were saying it was the science behind it.
Yeah, the science behind all of this. Well, the
Yes.
science basically shows that what we tell ourselves comes to be within our lives. If we
Yes.
tell ourselves we can't, we won't. If we tell
Yes.
ourselves we can, we'll try.
Yes.
And so that goes into that space. It's as simple as that, into that moment.
Yeah.
But what you're actually doing biologically, you are creating a new neural pathway in your
Yes.
brain that goes away from the sense of doubt. Let's just use that as an example. Let's say the old neural pathway was doubt that you could. That's old. That's familiar. That's easy. So now you're crafting a new neural pathway, which is difficult because
Mm.
it's not normal. So by actually just pattern interrupt in that moment, going and seeing a professional, seeing a coach, talking to somebody about it, holding an accountability partner that says, make me aware of every time I say this to myself. That in that moment of that shatter and that kind of that wake up call moment with no judgment, you'll immediately start moving your mind towards a positive element. So, Amanda, I can ask you the question. I'll ask everybody that's listening to this. You can spend the rest of your day in fear, or you can spend the rest of your day in love. Which one do you choose?
Love.
Of course, like you're probably sitting there. If you're listening to this now, you're like, well, that's kind of a dumb question. It's love. But what happens is the brain is used to fear.
Yeah. We're
The
addicted
ego,
to fear,
which
and we think that's all we're worthy of. And it's also potentially what we've watched growing up, and it's very familiar. And what also happens is when you identify what are really telling yourself, you might
Mhm.
notice that your goals are in conflict with what you're really believing about yourself. That is the
Exactly.
core of my work. And I've tried
Yes.
so many different ways of explaining it, and I call it the inner conflict. And after seeing tons and
Mhm.
tons of clients now for the last 16 years, I've realized that in every session, no matter what we're working on, it's always about identifying that inner conflict, which creates that stress response so that we can fire different pathways that lead to more growth and repair and healing. So being
Absolutely.
aware of what you tell yourself, that's really important. What's next?
That one right there. So once you're aware of what you tell yourself in that moment, then all of a sudden you will start taking a different action. But really, we need to take a look at what do we want? You
Yes,
set that, the goal that you put out there. So creating that strong goal in your mind, saying, that's the mountaintop that I'm headed to.
yes,
And so that allows us to put one step on the trail and follow this path of 1%. Now, there's going to be times you're going to doubt. You may have fears and worries. Is this ever going to work? Am I always going to be on this road? Is this always going to? And that's just the mind. So let's go back to awareness into that moment. This is going to spark some doubts and some old beliefs within you in that moment. Once you put it out there, that's what I want. So then I encourage everybody into that moment. What is one small step? What is your first step? So I may want to climb the mountain. I've never climbed. I've climbed 14 14ers, and I've never climbed any of them with one single step. I had to drive to the trail and get to the trail and step onto the trail. So then, of course, I pick the right shoes, the right clothes. I'm starting to change my mind and starting to get my mind wrapped around climbing a mountain. So let's say under this mind, I was diagnosed with a chronic condition and my mountaintop is to run again. So then what would I need to do? Well, then I would need to start building my leg strength up again to do that. So let's say it's been a couple of years since you've run. Well, it only takes 4 months for your body to actually start to atrophy the muscle, as you very well know. So with that, just like in the story I told you at the beginning, I had to start biking again. I had to get on that bike and I knew I could do it. I could only go 10 miles. But in that moment, I was building strength in my leg again and getting my body ready and adapted to start doing that activity again. I had not started running yet. And so you may not run today, but if you keep that goal out there,
yeah.
you'll start to take those small steps towards it.
That's golden and absolutely true. And a good realization for those of us who are really hard on ourselves and are impatient like me.
Yeah,
Um,
I got that jacket too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, so yeah, really that gives me hope that, every day I had that mantra on my wall, every day in every way I am getting better and better. Every day in every way
Amen.
I'm getting better and better.
Mhm.
Until it even faded with ink. It was up there for so long. But I really think it
Mhm.
helped me remind me of exactly what you just spoke about. And it did help.
But you told yourself that every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're allowing yourself that patience and that grace
Yeah.
to step into that next moment to say, okay, this is where I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my eye on the prize. That's my focus that I want to do. So then, as you start a workout program, you may go, okay, I'm going to start optimal body, optimal mind. Then what I will do every day is I will send you reinforcement techniques to build that mind to muscle connection, that BDNF within the brain. Now,
Yeah.
optimal body is going to water the seed. As you do
Yeah.
these exercises, you'll
Yeah.
actually start to feel stronger. As one of my clients said, she's like, I have not been this sore. And these exercises are not difficult. They're very accessible, no matter what condition, no matter what is going on, no matter where you are right now, is exactly where you need to be. As I was telling somebody, don't use bands right away if you're not comfortable using them. Just
Yeah.
use your fists.
Yeah.
Put your mind on, let's say, your chest muscle that you're activating. Hold that out there and squeeze that for 4 seconds. Squeeze your
Yeah.
chest and then slowly release it. That is creating acetylcholine.
Yes. Which
So
is,
now you're watering your desire.
yes, acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter that helps with connection. And we just discussed before, uh, like an automation that takes over. How does that work?
Yes. So what'll happen with acetylcholine is because that acetylcholine actually works 100 times faster than your thought. So there is something that I could do. It's like, okay, I could hold my hand out right now and think, squeeze hand. But acetylcholine works 100 times faster. That's when you hit a moment of no thought. Have you ever done something, Amanda, where you didn't even have to think about it?
Yeah. 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 Many
You've
times.
activated acetylcholine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so your brain just automatically, it's an automatic response.
Yeah.
So this happens when we're in flow or
Mm,
when we are in that beautiful moment of energy where time stops.
yeah.
When I used to race and then when I raced Ironman, time stopped.
Yeah.
I was no longer driving off my mind. I was just being it.
Yes.
So it comes into a philosophy of be, do, have.
Yeah.
You may start this journey by, I am going to be so much happier when I have this. When I cross the line at Ironman, I'm going to be fine. I'll be healed. But that's opposite. First, we need to be that energy and be that experience that I'm being in. And whether we cross the line or not, it's fine.
Yeah.
Then we take the action. We do the exercises. We ride the bike. We do the workouts, the band workouts, the optimal body elements, because we're being it within our mind. So the beautiful part about this is I will send you an exercise whenever you wish in the morning. It's specifically right when you wake up or right before you go work out. And it'll
Mm,
be a 5-minute exercise where we start training your mind.
mm.
As I tell my clients, get your mind right before you start.
Yes.
Start here,
Yeah.
then work here.
Yes. And your concept of be, do, have, it's exactly it's exactly how I work with my clients too, is I'm helping them to understand how to integrate all the knowledge that we're working through into a new way of being, and then how
Yeah.
to become that in all facets of life to do. And then inevitably, once you've shifted through that transformation and you've elevated your vibration and you've embodied that, you just have things come to you, all your
Yes.
goals start to just manifest and you feel like you don't even have
Right.
to think about it. Yeah.
Yes. No thought. You've built up the acetylcholine channel within your body that it's
Mm.
just happening with no thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's just natural. And other people will reflect on this and say, oh, you're just natural at doing this, or you're really good, or you have this. But what they don't see is the moments when you had the doubts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That's right.
what I want to invite everybody to do, any doubt, fear, or worry you might be feeling in this moment right now, I want you to feel it. I want you to go fully into it.
Mm.
Many doctors have talked about this and something I've put into practice within myself. If I'm feeling worry, for example, I don't push away from the worry or hide from the worry. I feel the worry. I
Yeah.
feel it fully within me
Yep.
and I release it. I basically let it know you are not in my life. You're no longer allowed to be here anymore.
It's like experiencing it, which is what we're here to do with emotions as human beings.
Mhm.
Experience it, therefore don't suppress it. Let it flow in, through, and out of you. And that takes
Yes.
an understanding of, or a regular practice of, what am I letting go of today? And what am I moving towards? Even in business, where we're productive and we're focused on the three things that we need to do today so that we can
Right.
keep moving the needle forward. In the same way, in our own shift of mind, body healing, and transformation, is what am I
Mhm.
letting go of today? And what are the three things that I
Yes.
can focus on moving forward?
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And I
I
love
love
the
what this,
program
yeah,
because
go ahead.
it helps people to do that
Yes, that's it.
and to
Is, with all
integrate
of
that into
this,
their bodies as well.
yeah. And then as you work out more and more, and as you incorporate this within, your body will then start communicating with you and
Mm.
let you know what you're doing is right.
Yeah.
You may
Yeah.
notice you have that little hic, that little pop in your step again. You may
Mm.
notice that you have strength in your arms when you go carry the groceries, or you just have more energy throughout your day.
Mm.
Let's say at some element you're feeling younger.
Yeah.
Because and we can talk about this with aging. What do most people say as they're aging? Now, it's a natural thing that we're all going to happen and it's all going to go through. I'm
Yeah.
48 years old, but what do I tell myself? Do I tell myself I'm getting older?
Not a good idea.
Not a good idea. Because
No.
then I'm telling every cell of my body, oh, you're getting older. We got to start shutting some things down.
Yeah.
Or do I tell myself, you know what? I'm getting stronger.
I'm getting stronger. Yeah.
It's
I-
interesting. I watch my father, he's 74 years old, and he is the most active individual I've ever met.
That's
He hiked
inspiring for
across,
you.
what's that?
That's inspiring for you to watch as evidence as well.
But this is what I see. So
Yeah.
then he's inspirational for me into this moment. I watched him and my mother walk across to England last year,
Oh, wow.
and it was very beautiful in that space. And they had such a great time. He's climbing Mount Blanc, he's climbing Kilimanjaro, he's doing all this stuff as he's 74 years old.
Yeah.
But he never tells himself that he can't.
Yes.
And he takes care of his body.
Yeah.
And so he looks at all these things, not because somebody told him he had to do it, it's
Yeah.
because he wants to do it. But he's
Yes.
been doing this for years, ever since I've known him, and it's been 48 years long. He's always been always doing in that space. So it was an ingrained neural pathway within his mind. So then, as I went through my own challenges, I said, could I rewrite an old neural pathway?
Mm.
Could I step into a new way?
Well, yes. And
Could
these are really important questions that we want to ask ourselves when, yeah, we're chronically sick or unwell or going through a physical challenge. We want to know that that's possible.
It is. It
Mm.
is 100% possible. I am living proof. My clients are living proof through all of this. Yes, you can do it, but I can only go so far with that thought process. You've got to bridge that gap.
100%. Do you know another analogy is and why movement is so important to integrate into mindset work is if you think back, I heard this on a podcast not long ago. Um, in the cavemen days, the way that they used to beat their chests and dance, and that was their source of entertainment, and you know they chanted, and but this was also probably a way for them to eliminate stress or release trauma that we know now is, can be stored in the body, particularly in the fascia. But
Yes.
as a kinesiologist, as I'm doing body work, we also store wisdom in the body, not just trauma.
Mm,
And
yes.
by using the body and movement in your program, you are opening up wisdom in areas that might have been shut down for a while. That's why the mind
Yes,
body work is really important together.
100%. If everything begins here, allow that mind body work to move through you.
Mm,
Allow yourself to start tapping into the innate wisdom that is within you
yes,
instead of the fears that you have built,
yes.
the worries and the doubts and the shames and the guilts and I should have and I blah 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 whatever it is. Become aware of that piece and allow your body to shift along with your new awareness of wisdom that you already have within you.
Mm, mm.
It's a tough statement for me to make with all of my clients when they say, "Oh, when's this going to happen?" I'm like, "It's happening right now."
Yeah, it's happening. There's changes happening that you can't quite see yet, but it's
Right.
integrating and it's happening, and just allowing the compounding of it all. Um,
It's it.
yes. So, Matt, you say that healing is a daily practice and choice. But for someone
Mhm.
in our community who's exhausted from trying everything from medications, therapies, lifestyle changes, but they're still struggling, what does that daily neuroplastic practice look like for them? And how do you maintain hope when the brain's rewiring feels slow or invisible? We've sort of just touched on that. But if there's anything
Yeah.
else that you can sort of say in terms of, I guess, how you've devised this program.
Well, and that's the beautiful side about that is through repetition.
Yeah.
What we often do is we have incongruent thoughts in our mind with repetition. This isn't going to work. Oh my gosh, this is never going to happen. I'm never going to be able to make this work. And am I ever going to get stronger? Am I ever going to get over this condition? Those are just terms that I used to tell myself into the moment. After I was diagnosed with MS, I started to sit there and I started to notice within myself, I kept telling myself I was getting worse. And my body did
Yeah.
until the day I said, you know what? Something's got to change. So I made a choice. And with that choice, I took one small step of action. Now, over time, that action started actually having me feel better. So then now my body was supporting my mind. So then it's a cyclical cycle. So I want to encourage everybody in this moment. If you've been diagnosed with a chronic condition, I would imagine you eat healthy foods because they make you feel better. And that's something we should all do in that moment. So let's say you've moved to a vegetarian based diet because you know the effects are my body does feel better and I do feel stronger when I do that.
Mm-hmm.
So then in that moment, right there, you started to change your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want you to imagine your mind is like eating that vegetarian food that makes you feel good. So every thought you think, I want you to become aware of the ones that are not supporting you, and I want you to become and support the ones that are.
Mm.
So let's say I loved your affirmation. Every day in every way, I'm getting stronger and stronger. That is just a positive affirmation that's so easily riddled off the top of your mind. I bet you could say this if I woke you up at 2 in the morning and I asked you for your affirmation, you just rattle that one off without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
So then have your plan. Build your plan to say, okay, these are the affirmations I say when things get difficult or
Yeah.
when I notice negative thoughts coming in my mind.
Yeah.
So you want to feed your body not just with good foods, but feed your mind with good thoughts and everything that
Yeah.
you say. At first, it's going to be frustrating. It might be even classified as a pain in the ass,
Mm.
Amanda, that
Mm.
you're walking down this road. You are building a new neural pathway, which is like walking through the woods with no trail cut.
Yeah.
It might take you all day to walk a mile. But with continued practice, this pathway becomes more and more reinforced.
Yeah.
As you
Yeah.
reinforce it, you'll cross that mile in a minute. You'll create a super highway within you. But if you know that deeply within you, you'll start affecting this with your mind. you'll actually start taking a look at any medication you're taking or anything else that you're doing, meeting with you, like anything, like other inspirational people. You'll start to notice those people come into your life to help support you.
Yes.
So then not only will you be saying with the medications you take, the foods you take, the mindset you have, this is making me stronger
Yes.
and I know I will get better. So then you'll start taking different actions. You may start exercising. You may say, you know what, I'm going to sign up for this Optimal Body, Optimal Mind program.
Yeah.
This is going to be the linchpin for me.
Yeah.
So, like what you said earlier, I've tried all of these things and nothing's working. Well, it may take a year, but do you have support through that year?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
do you have a plan? And that's what I love about doing this with Dr. David Lyons is as we're looking at all of these pieces, it's a plan.
Mm.
It's been tried, it's trued, and it's been tested and scientifically proven that this will change your entire reality
So
for
if I
which you
sign up,
deserve.
I sign up, I've got some exercises from 20 programs that David has, and we start
Yes.
with one, and at
Mhm.
the same time, I'm being nourished by messages of your mindset work that combines the physical and the mental.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm going to send you that email, depending on what part of the world you're in. Um, I will send you an email and a text message at the time you desire. So let's say, Matt, I wake up at 6 a.m. and that's when I do my workouts. Then I would recommend get your text messages or email sent to you at 6 a.m.
Yep,
Then with that will be a 5 minute visualization exercise, a
yep,
mindset training exercise.
yep,
Then do your workout, listen to 3 minutes of affirmations, and then just start your day.
yep,
Then right before you go to bed at night, you tell my program, you tell me, Matt, I go to bed at 9 o'clock at night every night. Then I'll send you another email at 9 p.m. at night that will have the same exercises of mindset. Then we're reinforcing that mindset before you go to sleep. We're rewriting the subconscious mind. Then we reinforce that with some affirmations. So it'll take you 8 minutes, but it'll be the most important 8 minutes you'll ever take.
yep,
You'll start telling yourself something different. Now, with practice and time, you are creating a new neural pathway within your mind.
yep.
And then there will come a time where you're just like, wow, this is who I am now.
Yeah,
Other people will recognize it before you do.
yeah. Yeah. This is brilliant. I really love it. I really support the mind body program. I think that it's backed by science. Both you and I are walking examples of how it totally changed our lives and
Yes.
have has helped us to heal from, very chronic, health conditions. But not just that, it's also helped us doing this kind of work to not just heal, but to,
Mhm.
live optimally, to thrive, and how to push yourself further out of your comfort zone, which is, that next journey once you return to health and then you realize what you want. And then you've filled with confidence and self-belief because of what's just happened in your healing. And that, it really changes your life and the course of your soul. And I think that this work will support those thriving as well that are, busy. Maybe it's for CEOs or leaders or founders as well, that they can, that's why I've got two programs, which is Heal and Thrive,
Mhm.
because it's really a very similar body of work that helps those two different journeys that we can be on in our
Yes.
lives. It's just that emotional, mental, and physical support, and of course, nutrition is important, but that repetition and consistently rewiring the brain for
Mhm.
performance. It's wonderful, Matt. I'm going to have all the links to you and this program and all the wonderful work that you do in the notes.
Wonderful.
And
Okay.
is there any final thing that you wanted to share with the audience with this juicy conversation we're having today?
No, this has been so wonderful. And the best thing that I could tell anybody, no matter where you are at right now, is exactly where you need to be. And that's the place to start,
Oh,
where you're at in
yes.
that moment. You are possible. Everybody is possible.
Yeah.
The amazing will happen if you allow the amazing to flow through you.
Beautiful. I totally agree. Matt, thank you so much for your time
You're
today
so
and coming
welcome.
back on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Amanda. You are amazing.
Thank you for joining us on the Bend Like Bamboo Resilience podcast. I hope today's conversation inspired you. And if this resonated with you, please rate, follow, and share it with someone who needs to hear this episode. If you would like to go deeper with me, whether you're leading through burnout, navigating health challenges, or rebuilding after setbacks, I'd be honored to support you. Head to bendlikebamboo.com to explore our programs, check out my new book, or book a free discovery chat. Trust your ability to bend and flow with life. I'll catch you at the next episode.